The conditions out here are harsh, but at least I don't have to talk to people. Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary's Mod. And today, the map we're going to be exploring is GM Umbral. A really interesting map that just popped up on the workshop, which is apparently an exploration story map. It seems like we just barely managed to survive a crash that claimed the life of, this guy. From the look of it, this guy didn't survive the crash, and this one maybe did, stayed with us for a little bit before bleeding out and freezing over. And in conditions like this, even with a fire, we can't stay out here for long. At a certain point, we'll have to break down these signs for firewood. Maybe we can find something nearby? Now, apparently this takes place at a remote Norwegian research station. Yep, I know this setup. So, let's head off into the cold and see what we can find. That wind looks strong enough to carry me away if I were to step into its path. I'm actually playing with the AC at full blast right now to simulate the experience, but between the snow effects and the ambient sounds, my brain would do the work for me. Oh, and it's a good thing I didn't come too far. I didn't even notice the light posts there. Well, we'd better get started. All considered, this is actually not the worst place we could have come down. So let's grab on and try to follow the path. I love Arctic settings because it's remote, but in a way where your visibility is constantly threatened, where the base systems, such as these lights, are a literal lifeline, and any gaps mean a lot of guesswork, where even a few feet could be the difference between life and death. It's just so inhospitable, something so far removed from the human experience that it's almost like the surface equivalent of being on the bottom of the ocean. In fact, it's actually a quite similar adaptation to what was set up on GM Abyssal Plain. But I think I can see a fence over there. That looks like another frozen corpse. Our helicopter crashed, but is there something happening here as well? I am completely blind. Oh, this place has seen better days. Look at that. We can actually see how deeply buried some of this is in snow. What is up there? Wait, there's like a dark shadow hanging over this. I can't tell if that's... Oh, I think that's all the way in the sky. For a second, it looks like there was something hovering. Well, the equipment that was inside is fallen to the ground as well. Wait, there's a gas can. Maybe we'll need that. Well, keep in mind that it's here. A ladder as well. There must be something out here. There. Looks like a satellite dish maybe as well, or some kind of antenna. Oh. Look at that, there's a whole construction site down here. I wonder if maybe it was some kind of excavation? Okay, none of this is working. Okay, thankfully it seems like the generator is up and running. And at the moment, I kind of feel the need to warm my hands beside it. Ooh, perhaps we can even use the crane? Alright. Remains to be seen what we do with that. I'm seeing a ladder over on the left. The elements are hostile enough, but surely the people who worked here would have had enough resources to survive on their own. Look, these snowmobiles are left completely abandoned. So what did happen here? It wasn't just the cold, and it wasn't a power failure. Alright, let's just go walk under this. Now, we were given a crowbar. But it doesn't... Yeah, there we go. Just had to angle it through the gap. I really hope I was supposed to do that. Oh, I've no flashlight. What a cozy little hangout spot. I mean, everything is relative when it comes to comfort. It's so easy living in our houses to, you know, I expect a high standard when it comes to this stuff, but when you've been out in a blizzard for so long, any respite, even just getting out of the wind, feels like paradise. We need to drop that ladder somehow. But how? Or perhaps we can use that to climb? Alright. Now, this map is probably not really built for VR. Maybe we can climb those boxes. You move in increments, I think. Yeah, there we go. Alright, maybe from up there we can see what we need. This is so cool. It's a full-on adventure map. You don't actually see too many of these. I feel like they were a trend for a while, and they kind of went away for a bit. Yep. Well, we can certainly climb on. Just bring that right over the top. That should be just what we need. Here we are. I really do wish I could take those snowmobiles for a spin. It sort of reminds me of Nuclear Nightmare, which is a game I have played. I have footage. Well, at least we're out of the wind, right? Even if there is a breeze in here, I am very disconcerted by how suddenly quiet it became. Explosives. What do they need explosives for? I mean, I do think that this is probably a mining site, or maybe such things are used to tunnel through the ice like this. Either way, this base is sprawling. One would think it would be easier to keep something centralized, but look at this. Oh my, this feels so good. Even the presence of this thing, like I can just feel the warmth in this room. And it's mostly in the lighting, but look, and a bed, an actual honest-to-God bed. I feel like I would crawl up inside here and not want to leave. That's got to be the worst thing ever, surviving a crash in the middle of nowhere. And then against all odds, you find that you actually are near some sort of structure, and there's a whole other nightmare going on here. They might find my corpse after all is said and done, but at least it wouldn't be a frozen corpse. I mean, what do you even think in a situation like this where it's all about survival? You gotta have times where you don't believe it's real, that you'll wake up and you'll be back at home. Or considering that you made a series of choices that led you here. Oh, look. Okay, that must be the main base. And there's McReady's Recluse Tower. Whoa, don't launch me off, ladder. What's that? Gasoline? Potentially combustible if need be? There's footprints going back and forth in the snow. But they're only right here. Unfortunately, we don't have a direct route to the base. Why only in certain places? Should I be prepared? Well, it looks like the communications tower may still be up. Maybe we can radio out? Actually, there may be multiple ways to survive this. See, according to the workshop, there are actually several different endings to this. Look at that. Oh, look at that! This is so much more than what I was expecting! Alright, let me in. Okay, don't like the sound of that. There should be no life out here at all. That tanker's been completely split open. But other than that, there's not really any signs of a struggle around here. Okay, let's get into this tower. It's actually the coziest looking place yet. Until we find a sign of a struggle. It looks like someone was desperately trying to get a message out while something was pounding both doors in. And it couldn't have happened all that long ago. Their fire is still burning. Alright, there's a gas can here. I'm trying to make a note of that because usually maps like this have some kind of refuel the generator objective. There's an American flag here, even though this is a Norwegian base, but maybe being a research outpost, it was some kind of multinational team? We're so far even from the crash site now. I'm gonna save the basement for last, probably. Well, maybe that's not the best idea, because it is right here where we entered. I can see some boarded windows and doors over there. Now, the question is, should I make use of this crowbar, or was it sealed off for a reason? In any case, let's try the main building first. We will not try the main building first. Hopefully we can open that gate over there. Can we see inside? Not really. And we don't have a flashlight at the moment. We only have what we were given. Nope. That entrance is snowed in. There's a building beyond there. But nothing in the fuel depot. All I'm seeing, though, is that there is plenty of gas to burn if we needed to torch this entire place. Although potentially a little bit less than we would like. Maybe the people here had a use for it all of a sudden. Actually, it feels like our run speed has been limited as well. Okay. Let's go against the wishes of the people who came before. These are tough stuff. They don't want to break. I'm not sure this is what we're supposed to be doing. Alright, maybe we have to get into the basement. Is there... Can we climb these stairs? Oh, this gate is open. Wow, I must say, I am super impressed with the level of detail that's been placed into this. Look at that. We have a spinning radar array up there. All kinds of places we can't go. Doors that are meant to be alluding to something that comes later. The architecture and detail inside are fantastic. There's even a floor plan. And more gasoline, although it looks like the front doors have completely frozen over. Yep, International Arctic Research Center. Kings Bay, SB. I don't know what that's short for. Flares. Okay, hopefully the rest of this continues to work in VR. Maybe we can use those to melt the ice? Okay, it's not displaying the effect. But there we go. That's one. And we need another. There we go. We do not need another. All right, here, have it anyway. Something tells me this is not the safest way to enter a building. Okay, keep this in mind. Gas on the ground is indeed flammable. We may need to utilize that in a pinch. Mystery stains, always a good sign when entering an abandoned research facility. We can't close the doors behind us. I mean, if anything, that's just wasteful. The atmospheres of this are amazing. Look at the smoke from the flare burning outside, the snow falling. Somebody put a lot of love and care into this. For Arctic weather, you need Arctic gear. Is a tweed jacket sufficient? Okay, we are here, and this place is more or less box-shaped with bathrooms in the middle. It seems right next to us is the archives, so maybe we can start there. At least get an idea for what this place was working on. Look. These front doors are boarded. And that looks like blood on the ground. Like somebody was dragged over the counter. They tried to fortify this. Can we interact with this? Doesn't seem so. I guess we should consider ourselves lucky that the power is still on. Maybe we can turn the lights on? No, of course we can't. Come on. Horror baby? Horror baby, what are you doing here? Do they consider you a specimen? To be fair, I consider you a specimen. You know what? Actually, maybe you're safer in there. Maybe the world is safer with you in there. Okay, we're in it now. Their fortifications are still up, but they clearly didn't hold. Maybe they just didn't think of this door over here. But then, if the doors were frozen, how did something enter? Alright, I found a flashlight in this drawer here. I do wish we could open those fire doors. Yeah, they really pulled out all the stops. And whatever was happening here, they clearly had time to know about it. I mean, I was thinking for a little bit maybe they unearthed some ancient disease in the ice, you know, were exposed to something that had been frozen for millennia. But you don't barricade against a virus. Look at that, more signs of breaking in. Whatever this was disposed of the bodies, either by consuming them or bringing them somewhere. I've often thought that I would be a good fit for a team like this. You're alone together, isolated, but with a group of hopefully like minded people, all with a single objective. And I feel like it's the kind of person that just sort of enjoys the solitude, enjoys the experience of being out here and their work. So it's always kind of sad to me in stories when it ends up like this. The Thing is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, both in terms of the situation and the scares and the way it's written, but also just for the vibes. It's kind of like The Shining. It's a movie that once you've seen it the first time, I can have it on in the background just for the atmosphere. Fire doors aren't enough when something can just knock right through the wall. Come on, let me through. Yep, they had time to construct something like this. Look at that, they even pulled up the floors in order to have something to use. This is true desperation, but it also speaks to having time. This wasn't something that happened just all at once. We can't get into the infirmary. But there is at least one body left behind. So that's got to be around here somewhere, right? I am a huge fan of the lighting on this map. It feels like I'm walking straight into danger obliviously. Alright. The conference room may have a key card. No, but it does have information for us. Powering our site and protecting our people. Kings Bay IRs is built on top of a state-of-the-art, world-class geothermal plant which provides both forced air heating and electricity for our station. In addition to powering our station, the IRs Coalition have also pledged to provide shelter for seasonal and year-round inhabitants of the Kings Bay and surrounding areas for use in emergency scenarios. Shelters A and B are situated underground at a depth of approximately 40 meters, where they can take full advantage of the benefits of our geothermal plant, theoretically allowing inhabitants to stay sheltered for extended periods of time. Commissioned 2001 and 2004, occupancy in the hundreds. For years as well. This place wasn't just geared up to survive a storm, it was geared up for the apocalypse. So if we're gonna find anyone alive, we'll probably find them there. So this here's the conference room. That means that whatever is on the other side is self-contained. Maybe an office? Oh. A projector room. Maybe we can find other slides? Well, I guess it doesn't matter now. And this does get us to the other side. What happened to you? I'm starting to think that maybe those who froze outside are the lucky ones. Looks like you had your own little corner, but succumbed to whatever happened outside. And you're a fresh body as well. Come on. Alright, we've got that. This is actually proving to be fairly VR friendly so far. I mean, it's entirely possible that there's been text displayed on the screen. There we are. Look, it even highlights where we're supposed to use it. That didn't open those doors as well, did it? No, it just sort of sounded like it came from behind. Communications center. No. Okay, let's exhaust our options before we go opening doors. They clearly went to a lot of trouble to contain whatever this thing was, and even if they were unsuccessful, it seems like closed doors are something you want. I mean, whatever it was, it almost seems like a predator. Something that had the ability to chase them down, to knock down doors and walls. And yet all these smart people couldn't stop it. Why? Well, our handy-dandy crowbar can take care of this. One assumes. I guess not. Huh. Must be one of them diamondillium padlocks. Oh, there we go. So, is this one of the shelters? There's blood and some bodies, but most seem to be missing. And there's indications that they may have gone underground. That flooding isn't a good sign, though. Ow! Well, I hope we got our fill of exploring up there. Huh, thank you, highlights. Letting us know we can restart these generators. Hang on, is that something we can enter? Probably not. You understand why the sight of a door slowly rolling open behind me, even if I perform the action, has me nervous, right? Ominous barrel punctuating the mood. And that door opened as well. There's another body. Okay, so this one wasn't dragged off. But some of them seem to be in situations where they were injured and managed to get away for a time. Is that a set of giant bear footprints? They look humanoid, but they're huge. What did this? And whatever it was, it seems like they came down here, sealed themselves off, and it was already down here. Okay, that's blocked off. Oh wow, this place is even more extensive than the building above it. And this side is dark as well. I mean, is it okay if I just start flipping levers and buttons? It doesn't seem like something I should do. No, this doesn't seem like your MO. An elevator. Hey, that was an electric eye, right? That was an electric eye, right? I should not have turned my back to this corner. Looks like there was a cave-in of this tunnel here. Oh no. That very much does look like an enterable vent. Hello? No, of course. Yeah, no, something's still in here with me, and the lights have gone out entirely. Okay, we're gonna have to bust this thing down in the dark, unfortunately. Something that knows how to use a door, something that has human footprints. And I'm hearing all kinds of sounds I don't like. It sounds like something's moving around out there. Can we get a good look from this spot? Can't see much. Oh my... Pipe burst. And this has been broken for me. Okay, things are starting to act up, but clearly whatever happened here was not just in the past. It's still here, and it is playing with me. That's what it seems like, closing the door behind me, making sounds, but not directly coming after me. No, you weren't carried off. You were simply killed. Barricaded in. I don't even know what else to say. I'm just waiting to see what this map is going to pull. Because with the production quality of this, I wouldn't put anything past it. Some of these threats almost seem paranormal in nature. Then again, no matter what beasts they may have found out here in the unknown, I suppose anyone can become a ghost. A place like this would be sure to be haunted, right? Have you eaten your fruit today? If only I had, none of this would be happening. What is this place? Looks like living quarters. And it looks like those living quarters have been breached. Maybe something came in through that window? Big enough to leave those footprints, but small enough to crash through there. Bennings. Look at that. It looks like they tried to fire through the door, or maybe immediately after it was bashed down. They had time to spray all over the place, and it wasn't enough. Shotguns and bullets. There actually may have been more than one person in here. God, I love the environmental storytelling on this map. I mean, you can just tell that they came up with the whole story in their head, imagined how it played out, and without having to show it, just dressed it as if they had. Norris. Locked. I mean, I love the signs of defense all over, but the little gaps that they didn't think of. Because one of the things that I think makes The Thing stand out from other horror movies is that the protagonists are not a bunch of idiots that keep feeding themselves to the thing. They're a group of smart people who actually use a lot of reason and come up with a whole bunch of off-the-cuff fixes, and it's just not enough. The threat is just that bad. I'm getting a very similar feeling from this. Come on. Now I feel trapped. I'm almost nostalgic for being outside. Haxabitch. That's horrible. Disabled and left alone. Against whatever threat was too much for even the rest. They aren't labeled, chum. I'm infected. I don't know what this is meant to be advertising, but something tells me it's foreshadowing. infection. I was saying that this doesn't seem like some disease that ravaged their base, but, well, between a predator and a disease, what if it's both? Okay. You actually just pulled a shower scare on me. And someone had a mirror scare. This doesn't want to open. I like to imagine somebody was washing their face and then they looked up and saw something behind them as their face was pressed into the glass. Maybe after throwing up after everything they had witnessed. Okay, nothing in there. Or actually, if we really try to reconstruct this scene, maybe it's even worse. I mean, maybe this place actually fell from the inside. Imagine somebody that was holed up here carried whatever it is in with them, gets sick in the middle of the night while everyone's asleep, comes over here and throws up all over the toilet, and then comes back and realizes that they're bleeding, maybe coughs up blood, is horrified to realize what they look like in the mirror. And after that, they begin their rampage when no one could have been ready for it. This is actually the door that was blocked off. No? That one requires a key card. Bury it again. They found something. That is the case. They found something, I guess, buried in the snow or the ice? I wonder what the purpose of this research actually was. I mean, a facility like this probably would have done a lot of things, but they were doing some digging. Just look at a place like this. I mean, can you imagine this shelter? It must feel so good to just be out here and relaxing with your buddies a couple at a time. And I've always just found there's something really cozy about the sense of insulation from the conditions outside. You're warm and safe in here, and you can always immediately see the blizzard and the storm raging out there. I don't know, comfort is in many ways a thing of contrast. Gary Fuchs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of these names are direct references to The Thing. Of course, it's taken quite a bit of inspiration. Palmer. And I'm hearing sounds again. I guess the people in those rooms down there are just kind of written off. Clark. Something's being... Oh, God. I'm actually starting to wonder if I should be sticking around in one place for too long. Alright, through here again. Into your room. Will this bring us beyond the barricade? It will. Chud, Copper, Childs. I wish Keith David were here. That would solve everything. Knowles and Blair. Well, I got my wish. We're back outside. So why don't I feel any safer? You know, I've often heard it said that cell phones ruined modern horror because you always have to come up with an explanation for why they can't just call out. Well, a remote place like this is the perfect setting, isn't it? I mean, it's isolated, there's mystery. It's almost like being on the moon, and yet it's right here on Earth. Come on, you've got to let me up here. Oh, there we go. course. So many locked doors. And we can get back up and over if we need to. So we'll keep that in mind. It may want us to return. There may be reason to. There's a grave out here. Whoever this was must have been among the first, or even the first, before they knew just how bad it would get. Even if they were able to get communications out, which maybe they did. Maybe we were part of the rescue team that was supposed to come and see what was going on. But if this is all we brought, then clearly we didn't know the full extent of it. You know, one of the worst things about the thing was the fact that that base in Antarctica was only accessible certain times out of the year. So even if they had managed to get the message out, you know, it would have been a long time before they could be rescued. This door has been marked. Come on. There's bloody shoe prints on the ground, but no sign of any other problem. $13. Was this the kennel, maybe? So now I've got to ask, is this a person doing this? Maybe somebody who lost it after all they'd seen, or is it somebody who maybe was entirely sane and just trying to leave a message however they could? Worse yet, are we actually dealing with something intelligent? That's kind of the least likely option, I think, but it's one we have to consider. That marking on the door, what does it mean? Well, look, these aren't the bare footprints. These are shoe prints all over here. Oh. You've got the key card, the one all the way back in the barracks. We just gotta figure out how to get up there. Maybe I can just jump up and get that, or even use a box. There we go. We're gonna need something a little more. I can just move this whole block over. Come on. There we go. Gross. Also, that arm seems to be quite large in scale. Quite large indeed, but then again, I'm a small person. Up and over. This has got to be to the front door to the barracks, over by the lounge area. I'm just worried about what we'll encounter on the way back. Oh. That door wasn't open before. Or was it? I really don't know, honestly. Blair's room as well. Don't like that. Okay, let's get a move on. None of these were open before. Oh my. This is where we heard the sounds coming from. I think we're dealing with multiple somethings. Okay, first thing we've seen visually. But why just appear? Alright, let's go. Let's keep moving. Oh my, the atmosphere that this map is able to convey. Even something as simple as that would be pretty typical in another horror map actually lands really well. Take note, it's not just the type of scare that makes most maps annoying. It's the lack of build-up. And this map has nothing if not substantial build-up. We're literally just walking around undoing all their efforts. But it doesn't seem like there's anyone left around here to save. There's a door over there. There's a ruined basketball hoop over there. Actually, wait, I thought it was wedged. How? Yeah, no, it is. How did they manage that? You would almost have to try to do it. Nothing. No. And do we really want to take another elevator downward? Canteen. Oh my, there must be a hole in the ceiling there. Oh, it's a skylight. See, what I love about this map the most is its restraint. It knows its world is good, and it allows that world to tell the story. It allows the stillness to carry your fear. Because in the snow, the silence is the worst part. Well, there's at least bread here, and watermelon. Can't get into the freezer. Actually, they were using it, at least for a time, to store bodies. Alright, we can probably jump through this. There we go! I think you forgot to follow through, Cinderblock. That's the most important thing. I can hear something beeping over here. Office? Oh, wait. Wait, is this where I entered? I think we made our way all the way around. What we saw may have been some kind of projection, but I think that was the real thing. Not only does returning make it feel more like a cohesive environment, it allows us to see what's changed even while we were walking around. Look. We come in here and it feels like whatever happened here might have happened like a while ago. And then we get to learn that that was the farthest possible thing from the case. That we've just been blundering our way through, so lucky to be alive. Okay. Wait. There we go. Fire doors open, lighting working again. Why do we do that again? Horror baby, you just sit tight, okay? I don't think this place is as safe as I at first believed. There is no way that that bag of chips came out of that vending machine. Charts. Wow, look, there's our location. It seems like we're actually like halfway between Sweden and Iceland. So this is far more remote even than I expected. Look at that, look at that! Horror Baby's famous! Snowcat maintenance for babies. A reference for the Rugrats. Chuck Sneed. It might just save your life. Okay. We'll bear that in mind. We've got to break Horror Baby out if we want to maintain this stuff, because I ain't reading the book. There's a Kings Bay map. I hadn't even thought about this. Look, the one lantern on the table. Like, the power went out at some point and people were just poring over these maps and charts trying to desperately find the one way out that they had overlooked. And ultimately, they probably found nothing because they're not here and the lantern still is. No. Of course. Well, it was worth looking around. Oh, and we can open the doors to this now. We're starting to see more bloody footprints, but this time with shoe patterns. So we know that whatever this is, it's turning the crew of this place. Turning into what, I don't know, but there may have been an original. Something that walked on feet of its own. Well, I'd like to thank these creatures for making it so I don't need to hunt down a keypad code. Look, somebody tried to barricade themselves in here, and they were blindsided from this angle. Maybe somebody was... Look at that! It's like somebody was keeping watch from in there. More of them sheltered here, thinking they were safe behind the fire doors. Something broke in, massacred everyone, and then got in from the side. The armory. Of course, completely cleared out. Although, these cans could potentially be weapons all their own. You can just see the tiers of defenses, the way things kind of break down gradually. At first, probably everyone trying to coordinate some kind of response that would save as many people as possible, and ultimately breaking down into little isolated enclaves all throughout the base. Now, I've been following a pretty linear path this entire time, but I can't help but think about the fact that it said there were multiple endings. So I wonder how that's going to come across. Well, Communications Center, if we can't get out of here on our own, that's probably our only hope, right? But then again, maybe we can get that snowcat working? That was the goal of Black Snow, which was a Half-Life 2 mod I played years back. Either way, it doesn't seem like this place held out either. There may have been an attempt at holding this. There's no bullets or shell casings or anything on the ground, but it does look like something charged down here. We're hit in a few places, but it wasn't enough, and they crawled over and overwhelmed the defenders. Attention, this area is a telecom's red zone. Cellular and wireless communication devices are not permitted. Now I see why there were some bodies and some removed. It's not that they were dragged off, they may have gotten up on their own. Let's open the lab first. Take it one at a time. All visitors must report to the security desk for entry. Yes, Adrian, that includes you. I may have made a choice right there. Actually, can we look at these computers? I would hate if these were functioning as notes and I just hadn't seen them. Doesn't seem so. Look at you. You either tried to hide in the floor or were dragged down there. So I wonder, are these bodies those who died from other means and thus can't be turned? Or worse yet, are they those who just haven't turned yet? I could take half a PC with me. This is one of the worst places to shelter. I mean, this glass looks strong, but not strong enough based on what we've seen, and the worst part is you'd see it coming. Maybe that's why you thought it was an advantage at first. Hang on. Oh my god, please just let me pick this up. Get out of here. All the way around. Be polar bear aware. Polar bears pose a real and persistent threat to IARC staff and visitors, and must be taken seriously. Would you know what to do if you were attacked? All staff and visitors to IARC Arctic facilities must carry an approved rifle when conducting field work. All polar bear encounters must be reported to the duty manager, regardless of the outcome. Staff must attend mandatory awareness training at least annually, and at commencement. Look at that, they've got glowing red eyes on the warning poster. Somewhat ironic. Maybe this is some kind of polar bear-borne infection. No? I get the impression that the only reason I've roamed so freely, that the only reason I've survived as long as I have, is because something wants me to. Here we are. Voices of the Void style game at an Arctic base. Come on. Come on, man. The world needs this. I mean, look at this. These canopy windows looking out in all directions. We can even see the flare still burning where we entered. That is so cool. This map is so persistent and cohesive. I am just in love with the design of it, both physically in terms of the architecture and lighting, and just in the way it has us experience the map. It uses the map to get most of its storytelling across.
Kings Bay, this is LNOKT. We hear you. You're in luck. We're just a couple minutes out, and this here is the last flight out of this hellhole. We'll pick you up, but the storm is making things tricky up here. Head to the LZ and send up a signal flare. We'll handle the rest.
Oh, I hope you will. I did not expect to get anything out here, but I suppose we're not as remote as Antarctica. Are we gonna have to hold out? Crowbar's all we've got. Flare against the moon. There it is. Oh, please hurry up. I don't like the look of those doors over there. Look, there's the broken skylights over the cafeteria.
Evening, folks. This is your captain speaking. This is OKT-9er flying direct service from Svalbard to anywhere but here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that this is a non-smoking flight and all personal electronic devices should be switched off before takeoff. Thank you. choosing Arctic air. Hold tight now, we'll scoop you up.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit, shit, shit! Shit!
Yeah. You spent so much time trying to be a comedian, you didn't pick me up. Oh no. God, what are these things? I definitely think they're intelligent. No? Great. And we're back to it now. I can't believe it. This is a Gary's Mod map with plot beats. One would hope that somebody's alive down there, but whatever that is, it's more than just an infection. Look, we've seen this thing appear and disappear before our eyes. We've seen it intelligently manipulate objects, throw them through the air, like with telekinesis, to bring down a helicopter to prevent rescue. We've seen it toy with us. It may have done something to the staff, but we're talking about something else altogether. Right here. Oh, and by the way, I should note the download size for this map, according to the workshop, was 666 megabytes. Back to here. Okay, are we just rushing out the front door? Because I could rush out the front door right now. I could really go for that. Horror baby. You're really anxious to get out of there, huh? Let's open this up. Might as well do this the easy way. Oh, great. A fence has fallen. We can't leave from here. But the doors are open. Alright. Are we able to break this? Horror baby. You're coming with me. Let's go. Maybe we can find something? Maybe we could even gas a vehicle up. Maybe we should try the bunker. We're not going to be able to open this. No, of course not. Alright, so do we just leave in the opposite direction then? There's the remains of the helicopter, but I don't think anybody's getting out of that. It's basically upside down in the snow. It did open up this garage. Can we make it through? More bodies. I mean, come on. Come on. I know we're on an island in the middle of nowhere, but cut me a break, please. Just allow me to have that moment of joy where I'm speeding off into the snow. Well, maybe not speeding. Hey, look at that! Oh my god! That's hilarious! That was actually a hint! Oh. That is unbelievable! Horror baby, you're actually saving me! Dude, ever since I saw you on the cover of the book, I just had it in the back of my mind that you would somehow be related to this, and there you are! You're actually pivotal to making this ending work. What would have happened if we hadn't brought you? I'm sorry, after all this, we got like a meme ending. Horror baby, you've done great. But I guess you don't want to come with me. No, this is where you belong. And you probably got a ride of your own. Thank you so much. For the channel as a whole, this is like finding out Bubble Buddy was real. Well, we made it. We made it to a boat we can use to escape. We can also check out what's in this shed here. No, we can't. Okay, no, you're right, horror baby. We just need to get out of here as quickly as possible. Seagulls? Arctic seagulls, really? That's the strangest thing we've seen this whole time. Deliverance. The snowcat delivers you to the harbor, where the storm at last begins to break. The doll lies forgotten in the white, its purpose spent. Still, years later, when the north wind stirs, you still hear it, a faint voice in the gale, beckoning you back. Oh, hey, there's an epilogue. Huh, we're up here in our winter cabin. Or back here at the facility. Huh. This time something to actually watch on the TV? A cozy atmosphere and basically a reward, a comfy room at the end of all of this. This is so cool. This was such a good map. I mean, it is immaculately produced. And the fact that we actually have some agency in the outcome, that ending was incredible. And the fact that it's only one of several is just amazing to me. Now, what's in the back? Oh, look at that. Yeah, there's actually an achievement system. Ah, we can unlock them as we go. And there's the obligatory hammer map. We can even restart from the beginning. Dude, this, you could release this as a game and I would pay a couple dollars for it. It also finds this thing that is very, very hard for map developers to balance, but it manages to have a sense of humor towards itself while still taking itself seriously. It doesn't diminish its plot. And it's so full of like references and homages without detracting from actually working on its own merits. It was a whole experience. It really does feel like I played a game, and it's so replayable. There's more we can go back and see. It was atmospheric first and foremost, and even in the ending here, it rewards us with more atmosphere. It had its scares. It always felt like there might be danger. But for the most part, it relied on the atmosphere and environmental storytelling, and just the changing of the environment, a cohesive environment to let things unfold. I mean, coming back and just noticing changes, I always felt like I was just lucky to be safe. Anything back here? Just a bathroom. Darwin! Darwin, what are you doing here? Literally, the gang is all here. I really do wonder if the creator has seen my videos at all, because things are starting to add up. I mean, I understand these are just like source assets, but even still. I am absolutely in love with this map. But about what it did best, because I need to talk more about this. I absolutely love a map that can make you feel like you're in a consistent space, and then just allow the different circumstances of our traversal through these spaces to tell the story. Like when we first went in through those front doors, it almost felt like we had found shelter. We had spent a decent amount of time out here in the snow, not sure where we were going. And so it was like we were finally in warmth. We knew that we wouldn't find help here and that things were just starting. But we were all proud of ourselves for melting the ice and getting inside. And then on the way back, we realized just how adjacent to danger we were after that thing crawled out of the bathroom. The storytelling was also done in a super creepy way. There are certain things we can infer, but not really a whole lot that we know. Someone on the board wrote, "Bury it," suggesting that in their research they found something under the snow and ice, but we have no idea what beyond that, unless I missed something. As far as the downfall of the place, it seems like something happened to the crew, something that caused them to go insane or attack each other or even change in some way physically. But we hardly got a glimpse of that, just shadows in the darkness. However, there was something presumably related to the It that had the ability to move things with its mind, to teleport, to intelligently prevent our escape. And the 13 on the wall, that marker on the door, it's a very understated way of implying something far greater, something maybe even occult to this. But we just don't know. And it really does live up to its description as an exploration horror map, because that ultimately was what drove us forward. It was about going through and appreciating and taking in the environment while the scares just sort of propelled it along, and the scripted events. It was very guided, but it was just to make sure you experienced it the right way. And we had some agency in changing that. Now, as far as the ending goes, there are 6 different endings, and I'm pretty sure a lot of those divergences will be in the end. Like, obviously at the end, but like right when we left the building. Because I didn't see if there was any blockage in the path, but maybe we could have tried leaving on foot. One of the achievements is called on foot. You know, going back the way we came to the crash site, which seems like a pretty bleak ending. So I was gonna initially leave the rest of the endings up to you. And I'm still gonna do that for most of them. I'm not going for all 6, but I do have a couple of things that I want to try now that I've edited the rest. So I'm gonna grab... You there? There is something I saw that we can work on while this is burning. Right over here, I noticed there's a stain on the ground. And that's not it, okay. I was wondering if this was maybe the way you could finish this in under 10 minutes. Oh my god! I didn't see that before! Okay. I need to get through here. This room is painted all black. There's something in particular that I wanted to see. Now, this elevator right here... Yeah, I kind of figured that wouldn't work. In fact, we may have seen the other corner of that before. This actually does break open, despite not looking like the other vents. Watermelon room. I wonder if one of the achievements has something to do with picking them up. The poo-poo pee-pee bag. Now, this was the big thing that was left unaddressed. I knew about it, but when I moved forward, I kind of wasn't really in a position to come back. Hello? There we go. I'm not quite sure if this ultimately would have led anywhere, but it's an unexplored avenue. We don't get to know. All we do know is that something collapsed back there and something rammed into the grate at full speed. No. But we can get up and over. What is this? The scientific detention cage? Oh wow, there's actually a lot beyond here. I may have found a branching path. In that moment, I had no idea I was making a decision. Am I making a decision now? I can't seem to interact with it. Oh my god! I didn't notice you there before either. Oh, hey, this door to the outside actually opens. I swear it was locked if I tried it before. I don't know if there's a reason to come out here. Yes, if we come back here after the fire doors are raised, the soldier's body is gone. It also means we can come around through here. I wonder if anything else will have changed. Look at this, that counts as a fire door. If we backtrack all the way to here, that's open now. This is so cool. There's like branching paths. It's not just different decisions at the end. Combustible gas. Pipes in the area conduct hydrogen sulfide to processing areas. In other words, can boom. All we need to know. Wow, this is huge. Well, the shelters were meant to accommodate a lot of people for a lot of time. Can't tell if I did anything. Maybe it's something we need to mess with manually. You look like something that we need to find a valve for. My way is being blocked. I don't know if these are invisible walls or if there's props that haven't loaded in. Is this where they found the thing? All staff must read appendices B and C before entering dig site. Wait. Cultural material management? Oh, they consider this an archaeological site. Human remains, old tools and weapons. Priority communication, HQ Cultural Heritage Office. Procedures relating to the potential discovery of historical grave sites and/or human remains. Effective immediately. Supervisors must ensure that all staff are familiar with response actions if remains of significant artifacts are found. November 19th, 2025. Recognition and guidance. Discovery of Norse burial site. Dear colleagues, on behalf of the Directorate of Research and Development, I extend my sincere congratulations to you and your team on the recent discovery of a remarkably well-preserved Norse burial context within the vicinity of the Kings Bay site. This is an extraordinary and historically significant find. Such an intact cultural site so far north and in such a state of preservation represents a rare opportunity to advance our understanding of early Arctic exploration and settlement. The implications of this discovery extend well beyond the boundaries of our normal operational research. Properly documented and examined, it has the potential to contribute greatly to the study of Norse something. So it's one hallway, chambers off to the sides, and something at the end. Looks like one of those sides collapsed. No way. Come on. Maybe I should keep the crowbar ready for this one. This is so cool. This is a wildly different ending. Oh, great! Well, we're in it now. Nothing left now but to see it through. It wasn't just one body found, but many. I had so many ideas for this. Ancient bacteria in the ice, something alien. I never would have expected pissed off ancient Norse specter. A shield, some pottery. And this must have been someone important. I just hope they don't have a cave troll. No, but they do have a cave. Why would the researchers break through a wall down here unless it was already like this? Or something did this after being disturbed. Well, this looks to be something of recent doing. Or maybe not. These pillars are all rusted. It's all wood construction. What is this? Those actually look like exterior windows, but they're all frozen over. Dude, I am so glad I decided to come back and revisit this. Hey there. Locked. I'm assuming one of the potential endings involved overloading those pipes and blowing this place sky high. There was so much more to this place than I ever would have thought. I mean, I don't know what goes into geothermal power. I know they need to dig deep to tap into it, but this is insane, right? I'm not crazy. This is insane for a facility like this. Oh no, I see. We generate our power via the spook mill. We dig deep down into the ancient graves of restless souls and use their screams to turn these wheels, and that in turn generates electricity. Door closed. Well, I see solutions, but they suck. There's even a way through up there, maybe, if we can break that vent, but I don't see how we would reach it. Oh, come on. Could jump across to there. I'm not really interested in looking that way right now. Maybe we can peruse further possibilities once we're safely over this railing. There we go. Yep, there is a ladder. We can walk along that pipe. Ow! That's not angry Norse spirits, that's just bad construction. That hit me square across the bridge of the nose. Are you kidding me? Alright, let's do this. This is really the only way. Oh, I could get inside there. Alright, let's try it. We can also use this to get around to there, but I don't think those vents are going to help us any. I think these vents are maybe going to help us any. Yep. So, being barricaded in here, that gets us around, but it doesn't do anything. Hey, look, it goes even deeper. Joy for me. Oh, come on, those fire doors didn't open. Which leaves me only one choice. The steam tunnels, no way. Dude, look at this! They've actually gotten the asbestos pipe insulation melting off of it after age. It's the Tunnel of Nope. No way. It may not be the direct inspiration, but this is the Tunnel of Nope. My God. Okay, thankfully it's mercifully short. There we go. It's exactly as tight as something like this should be. Yep. Come on, nope. We're through to the other side. Potentially do some more pipe platforming. Yep. There's a valve right there, but I can't mess with it. Okay. Valve lockbox release. And I think that means that now I can mess with these things. Well, thank you for pointing those out. Oh, and we can actually see the one we're supposed to use down here. Okay, it highlights that as well. You come with me. I actually attempted to use the one that flew off and hit my face, see if I could pick that up. There you go. Oh, you're a different one. Oh, this one's gonna be a bit of a project. Why does it have to be like this? Well, we did it to get the key card. We can do it here. Actually, if we inch you back a little like that. Oh, and also you're two boxes. You're not just the double wide. So if we go like that, and that, and that, come on, and that. No! All right, we're gonna do two this way, and then we're gonna use this as a stepping stone. And then we're gonna go boop, and boop, and come on, boop. And over goes the tower. But it doesn't matter, we got it. Well, that door opened. You know, I always think that a good twist is one that makes you question everything and, you know, everything becomes different upon a rewatch. That is most certainly the case here. I will tell you what. All right, so that's 1, 2. 3 is right there. That's where we really need this one. And then 4 we have to platform to. Come on. 3 goes right here, which is why you're not highlighted. There we go. And 4, that's all of them. And now we need one more. And you're closing. I could get out this way. Oh. It's probably a timer, right? Let's go. Oh, God. Are all the fire doors going to be closing? This way. Feels wrong to be running back against this. This is not the right way to do this because the ladder's collapsed. Fire doors up here remain open. And those doors remain closed, so do we just proceed like normal? Or was I supposed to stay down there, maybe make my way down to the control room and do something? Actually, I was just thinking... We blew up the underground, including where those barrows were, or whatever you'd call them. What if we try going through here now? Like, is that thing still active and around? The sign said, bury it again. Well, we buried it. Can't open the data center. 'Cause somebody tampered. We're gonna call for the helicopter once again. I wonder if it'll go differently.
Kings Bay, this is LNOKT. We hear you. You're in luck. We're just a couple minutes out, and this here is the last flight out of this hellhole. We'll pick you up, but the storm is making things tricky up here. Head to the LZ and send up a signal flare. We'll handle the rest.
Standing in front of this window, sending a distress message, and the room is lit only by the glow of the emergency lights and that screen, casting over the radio and flickering. This is atmosphere. Alright, let's call for helicopter and see if the comedian can complete his bit this time.
Evening, folks. This is your captain speaking. This is OKT-9er flying direct service from Svalbard to anywhere but here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that this is a non-smoking flight and all personal electronic devices should be switched off before takeoff. I thank you for choosing Arctic Air. Hold tight now, we'll scoop you up.
No Aurora Borealis contained entirely to the top of that roof. So it looks like we've probably done it. We buried it again! That is so cool. Like, these endings are wildly different, and all of them actually feel like a worthy conclusion. Borne away, the blizzard swallows the ruins, sealing the horrors beneath the ice and snow. The chopper carries you homeward through breaking skies. At last, the nightmare's behind you. Dude, this is so cool. I can't get over how this Gary's Mod map has such brilliant scripting, such brilliant pacing. And it's all structured in such a way where you can so naturally, based on just what you choose to explore, end up going for one or the other. And it all feels right. It all feels like you're supposed to do it. Oh, hey. Now, I've reloaded the map, but all of our stuff is kept. Now, those were 2 endings out of a potential 6. And that's not even all of it. There's so many Easter eggs and other things. Like, I was looking on the workshop just now, and there's a lot more you can do with this. I really encourage you to check this out. Because it really is just a story where you define the whole thing. It's exactly what I love in narratives with multiple endings, because it doesn't feel like a scale of how well you performed. It's simply how you performed, what you decided to do. But anyways, I'll refer you to the original outro, where some of the things I say may be wrong. I know one of the achievements is called Speedrun, and I'm pretty sure that's for achieving an ending within 10 minutes of starting the map. So I imagine there must be something we can do as soon as we arrive at the base. But whatever, if any of those other endings seem interesting to you, well, I'll encourage you to pursue those for yourself. Meanwhile, I am ready to retire to my cozy cabin right here on the site of a nightmare, which I think is a just reward. This feels like something you should get in a resulting lawsuit. But if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this map out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.